topic is provided by the Buddha's Action Association of Australia. We are here to discuss a fascinating subject: how an ancient spiritual concept, Senten, through the universal language of science, offer new solutions to our modern health problems. Let's dive straight in with an issue that, arguably, affects every single one of us. You might be surprised to learn that, according to scientific research, consuming too much sugar for just 4 days is enough to start producing pathological changes in your brain. It happens that fast. So, this is far more than just weight gain. It is a form of hidden suffering, and modern science is progressively helping us see its true face. You might think, my body is fine, I don't feel anything. But research tells us that the brain is the first to react. Often, its function is already impaired, even if we haven't noticed it in our daily lives. Now, here's the question. Since science has laid this invisible suffering bare before us, where does the motivation that drives us to act actually come from? The answer might be a bit unexpected. This driving force is not a new invention. It is something ancient and deeply rooted in our humanity, called mekaru, or great compassion. The word mekaru might sound profound, but at its core, it is simply a heartfelt wish to help others alleviate their suffering, like the diet-induced health problems we discussed, which we might not even be aware of ourselves. Ancient scriptures state that this compassionate wish to help others is the very seed from which wisdom and enlightenment can grow. This perfectly explains why we should take action, right? Okay, we understand the principle. But the next question is, in this era where everything demands scientific evidence, how do we apply this ancient motivation to our daily lives? This is indeed a challenge. If we continue to communicate using traditional, often religious, language, many modern people might feel a certain distance and be less receptive. Ancient wisdom, however, holds a very powerful principle. Notice the reference to the Bodhisattva Guanyin, who appears in 32 different forms, taking on the most suitable guise to help beings. The core spirit behind this is that truly effective methods are those that are adaptable. The key point is clear. Practical science does not abandon the original principle. On the contrary, in today's age, it is the most effective form of skillful means, upkia, to reach the broadest and most widespread audience. Now, let's bring the conversation back to our shared modern problem, sugar. See how this chain of suffering is formed. The fundamental cause is a craving in our hearts. This craving drives the second step, the behavioral overconsumption, which ultimately leads to the third step, the scientifically verifiable physical and mental suffering. But the important point is this: we don't need to preach about the first step. We only need to clearly articulate the scientific connection between the second and third steps. That's right, because science is a universally trusted language. Therefore, our strategy is not to sermonize, but to educate with verifiable scientific discoveries. This allows us to help people understand the consequences of their actions without judgment. So, what does this compassionate action look like in real life? The focus is on starting and on progress, not on demanding immediate perfection. This chart is very insightful. Whether it's a slight reduction, say, eating 2 spoonfuls instead of 10, or a significant reduction, or even cutting it out completely, every single block here represents a victory. Because even just helping someone reduce their suffering by a little bit is inherently meaningful. The goal, therefore, can be very simple: to help others reduce suffering, even if it's just a little. By continuously sharing these scientific findings, we are essentially empowering people to make small changes, thereby finding genuine relief from physical and mental distress. This brings us to the most profound insight of today. The statement, helping others, is inextricably linked to our own growth and well-being, means that the act of helping others is inseparable from our own happiness. So, let's leave you with a question to ponder. When we help others, even if we only relieve a tiny bit of their suffering, what do we ourselves gain in return? This is a question worth considering for everyone. Thank you for listening.